What's up? I got that fucker in. And there was no way I was picking that shit up. It was heavy enough, but I used the debris trailer. And what I did is I hit the little latch thing so it turns into like a little dump truck thing. Tilted the generator on it on one side, so on the generator I tilted it up onto this side, so that way I was able to move this little fucking trailer up as close to it as possible and then just kind of tilt it in. It was using more leverage than anything. Got it in there, and then I found the truck jack and grabbed a cinder block. I had to use the 4x4 to keep it from rolling back when I loaded it into the trailer thing, and then used it to keep it from rolling back after sort of jacking it up a little bit, leveling it. Because then I raised it up a little higher, and then again tilted the thing back onto the other side where the wheels are, on that side, and then just leveraged it in. There's no way I was picking that up by myself. Like I said, it was hard enough to do that, but got that fucker in there. And then I just gotta come over here and grab my grandpa's tools. I want to make sure I at least not forget them. Neighbors are out working on their projects. I guess I could take and put all these seed start trays inside this. This is a coffin vault. An old metal one. I would have taken it with, but again, it's something I ain't gonna pick up, and even with using some sort of leverage, I ain't picking it up then either. This thing's fucking heavy. But I had originally, not all of it was cleaned out, but there's still obviously leftover stuff from the pack rats here on the property. But all the tools and shit. My grandpa made these. I've got a couple of them here. And I used one as a handle for the forge of his that I repaired. So this one here, this good guy. He hammered that out himself and forge welded it to this thing, just like he did to that one. And then I've got some old hand tools in here, an old brush axe that I've got stuff in here I'm going to rehandle. I'm going to clean up and rehandle it. The shovels are always useful. The cut handle one, I originally was taking that one and throwing that into my little UTV I had for a little bit there. It's just a little two-wheel drive thing. So. Otherwise, I would have got a snowplow for that thing, and it would have made it so much fucking easier. But no. So I used that shovel since the upper part of the shovel handle had broke already. I had cut it out, and then just put the sleeve back into it, because it broke just about an inch or two above it. So I'd take this down to the creek or whatever, post hole shovel. Yeah, these are tools that I'm gonna be rehandling anyways. And then a couple of the shovels I'll use anyways. I'll be using. I mean, all of these I'm going to be rehandling. And then I'll keep a couple. Obviously, I'm keeping the tools my grandpa made. These are actually post hole diggers too. So those things that I showed you, old school post hole diggers is what they are. And then they also work good. My grandpa was saying these also work good for like when you're in mine shafts. So they work good for, you've got the long poles with the points to them. And that's the only thing that's really missing from these, but you can still use these for that. Where you're tapping the roof of it to make sure that, you know, there's no loose hanging rock that might fall on your head or a possible cause a cave in. But those things, those are fucking old. That's all I can tell you. Another post hole digger, busted handle, obviously a newer one. And then old pickaxe. I don't know the brand of it or anything. Something my folks gave me to rehandle. My mom did for me to use or whatever. Which this is one I will most likely keep to after rehandling, because not my mom got it for me for that purpose, but I don't really have my good pickaxe anymore. Shovel handle, brush axe. Clean this fucker up and sharpen it back up and put a new handle on it too. Some of the handles I'll just pre-order, but if I have, like in this case, I have a shovel handle that's still pretty good. It just needs basically sand down, stained and coated, and then just shave that down to fit in the shovel head, and it'll work just fine. That would probably go into one of the shovels I just used. Because if I'm gonna reuse one, resell something, I'd definitely put a little bit more, put a nicer handle on and all that fun stuff. That's what I had to use to break up the soil for my garden for quite a while there. And then I got a little garden weasel thing. Then this year I finally get the rototiller, get it repaired and fixed, and then all this shit happens. So it's like every time I get to that point, like something big happens, it always something really fucked up ends up happening, and it's always involving that person. Well, I'm surprised they didn't jack the crowbar. It's not the little ones either, it's the big ones. I've got a couple pieces of metal in there I might be able to repurpose and all that whenever I can get to firing up my forge again. Because once I'm moved, I don't think I'm going to use my grandpa's forge. I fired it up a few times and got to use it, but I'm gonna get the little things that you put underneath like the furniture legs so it doesn't scratch your floors. But I'm gonna put it in my, like wherever I move to, I'm gonna use it for my living room. And then one project I wouldn't mind doing, but I'm not gonna say I'll get it done because I'm one of those people at times where I'll get a list of projects and only get like a handful of them done. You get to a point you start building up so many, you get overwhelmed. There's some angle. That is good. And then this is a train track cradle, so I mean it's softer metal, but it works. Something like this thing, this brace thing, that was in there. I cut it right now. I could probably, I can just use that to make like silverware. Flatware, I think it's called. Whatever. And definitely grabbing my hubcaps. Found these babies, you know, buried in the yard when we were digging out the pond. That beautiful blue bow tie. No, I don't necessarily think I'll be moving back up there this time. But because I'm not going to be able, yeah. I could load everything up, including the in-stand thing. My coffee table I made, but I keep pulling my pants up. Need a belt. The belts feel weird. But I might just, if I am gonna move back up there, I might just come back down for, you know, maybe a couple more weeks to a month, just at the longest, and then go back up and stay till the end of the year or something. Just all depends on what happens when I get up there here this weekend to go see the folks. I'm not sure what else to do. Let's see. Put that back in my pocket. I might throw the dolly in there later. I might even throw the little yard, was it a garden seat on wheels in there? But yeah, I will. I am going to take the fucking table saw and get it loaded in the back truck. Just not until I go to leave, because yeah, otherwise it's gonna get wet. And this is one of the axes I rehandled. This was a Husky axe, and on this one again, unless I already have the wood for it or another handle to use, I'll just order another one. And I found that at basically Ace Hardware. Out here it's like the Diamond store or whatever, Diamond Hardware. And that's where I like going to get these, because it's where I found the nicer handles, and they're not as freaking expensive as Home Depot and some of them. So yeah, I do like this axe, and it does work good for splitting. It's just when it comes to fresh lumber, it's not so like any axe. It doesn't split so easy because you're still dealing with all the fresh sap in it or whatnot. And yes, I used my shoulder to help throw that over. Not that strong. I'm fucking with you. No, I've even got, so up here, these are some of the things that I found here on the property from the old owner. And these are like barrel rings for like wood barrels, whiskey barrels, or whatever. I might take these with me because when I do move, I am going to be bored, especially until I start getting my business going, and I'm going to have my moments where I need something to do. It's not like I'm going to have anybody around, and let alone know anybody. So it's going to be like here, just not basking in all the shitty memories and all that bad juju. But I might take those with. Those are not big, but I had thought about straightening them out, rounding them out, and then back to shape, and then uh, repurposing them. Not necessarily for barrels, but I have thought about using them for repurposing them for furniture and stuff, or other things. Making sure my windows are on here blocked out. Yeah, even had the cabling that they use for logging. Found an old wood boat uh, paddle that was here. I can't leave these. I was going to rehandle this guy. And then I use one of these, a railroad tie, as kind of to help as a cheap hot cutter. I haven't used these for a while. I had a lot of my drive, my inspiration, just everything just drained right out of me the last few years, and I lost myself pretty good, so it's like I have to kind of refine myself again, and yeah. It's a process that's probably going to be going on for a while. It's not like I'm going to be the same ever again. I had my head fucked with really bad. And there's no words to really express how fucking bad it was. And of course, that person, they think, oh, it's all great. One thing I will say, though, just over the last few days, I've already gained another two subscribers, which, like I said, every time yeah, every time some bullshit, ran out there, and I'm not even trying. It's not even I'm not actually expecting it, but at this point, anybody at this point right now, just at the given moment, I don't know what to think of who's subscribing, who's not. All I can say is thank you. It's just the flying monkey aspect is what does bother me, and I don't like that. I don't appreciate that shit. I don't go hunting down on some other people's shit. Once I know it's done and over, it's done and over. And so, yeah. But no, I gotta get myself past this shit as is, because I know I'm stuck, and I've gotta redirect myself, distract myself, and all that fun fucked up shit. So, with things changing out with the realtor people, not the realtors themselves necessarily. Yeah, dude, open that one. I'm more than comfortable with the idea that this place is gonna finally sell. Yeah, I'm already aware of it, especially in a place like this, and just being, somebody like myself, I'm not in the mood to go hunt for houses in the middle of fucking winter. And when it comes to a place like this where you get under, 3-4 feet of snow, to get up to this place to look at it, I can get out here, shovel a little trail for people to walk up from the road down here. That's really, it's a pain in the butt. It's just something I would have to do like every couple days or something. But yeah, it can happen. It's just, like the realtor was saying, it's also during the wintertime when you start dealing with people who want to jump on a home at a cheaper price, basically, if they can. That's part of where the price of my home has dropped, which would have been about, in the last few months, it should have been only like a few, at most maybe a few $1,000, so like $5,000-6,000, and that's expected given season and all that stuff. And there's still going to be people who are going to end up buying. I don't expect anything to happen until the beginning of the year anyways. Something happens sooner, that would be great. Oh, shit. And yeah, that'd be fucking great. I don't really want to be here any longer than I am already, but when God says it's time to go, it's time to go then. Right now it's just stuck dealing with the bullshit until then. Yeah, I'm actually dealing with a genuine 2x4. It's like a 10-12 foot guy that I found here, and I kind of set to the side. I'm gonna set you down for a moment. I had to get it stacked up with the rest of the lumber real quick. Oh, fuck. I got this shitty ATV on a bad deal. Like I said, I obligate myself to something, even when I know it's just not good. I follow through because it's just how I am, and I sort of eat it. So now it's like I'm learning to deal with things before I get to that point. The engine runs, all that stuff, that thankfully, but that was the good part. The engine does run. It's for the work needed, like to replace like suspension, wheels, tires, all that, it's more than what the bike's actually worth. So it's one of those things. It would be, if the next owners want to fix it, they can. If they want to just pull the engine off of it and put it in something else, they can. Yeah. Because what I thought about doing is pulling the stuff off of there, pulling the engine off, cut the frame a little bit, and then turning it into like a little UTV, like utility trailer for the UTV and the 3-wheeler, so that way I had something to be able to take my my camp stuff up with and have that little bit of room there. And with the type of suspension and frame on this, it would have been perfect to make a little single person, like a little mini, like pop-up camper. Just enough for one person to pretty much crawl in and go to sleep. Kind of like a hammock tent, for one person, a hammock tent. But I get all kinds of weird ideas like that. All kinds. And I just, yeah. I got all that loaded in. Looks like we're gonna have some rain here shortly. So you see how the clouds are moving. They're moving that way. So yeah, in that direction, like that way. Bringing in the rain clouds from over the mountain. We're like right on the edge. We're technically in the Wyoming National Forest, and then we're only like depending on where you're at here, because I can take the service roads and end up in the Siskiyou forest in like might as well say a half hour, 45-minute ride, on the ATV or even the UTV or whatever. And it's right there. By vehicle, I mean, it's maybe 20 minutes up the road. So, I mean, we're right on the edge of the two national forests. We have people sitting there going, well, I thought you can't live in a national forest. You can't live in a national park. It's not a national park. It's a national forest. But hopefully I can find something else in a similar situation, but either on the edge, in, the outskirts of a small town, no more than, a few thousand people, maybe no more than 10,000 people, but a small town, and where I can start a business and all that stuff. And some people be like, why don't you go look in a city and all that? It's because I know how I function and how I work, and as I'm working myself into that and working, kind of getting used to that type of thing, it's at a slower pace, so that way as business picks up, I'm getting used to the rest of it picking up. I'm trying to make sure that when I go out about something, I don't want to fuck up. I don't want to mess it up, especially, after everything that's gone on, everything lost, all this shit. It's like, no, it's time to focus on what I need to in this sense. I still got to do other shit, including dealing with my own emotional baggage at this point. But in the meantime, I can still, even though I have trouble focusing on a lot of things for a long period of time and sometimes I need help refocusing. If I had somebody around that can help me refocus on things and like keep me focused, that would be great. Like a focus, what do you call it? Like a focus friend. But as long as I intentionally limit myself of all the things I have to deal with, and it's like, okay, this is the next step. I don't want to think about the rest after that. I just want to think about this next step and try to deal with everything that I deal with around that. This bullshit, it's between what I've been dealing with, between just a lot of shit. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know. And there's plenty of vids right now that were public that I've, like I said, either unlisted or made private, because I'm trying to go through the whole healing process of a lot of bullshit, while simultaneously dealing with this house, the sale of it, all kinds of crap, and just a lot of shit. So, no, I didn't think I was gonna get that loaded in realistically that easily, but I just kind of used what I had in my noggin to at least do that. So, anyways, thanks for hanging out. Have a good day.